Hello friends! It's been a couple of weeks since we've been together in a sip and stroll, and I can't wait to show you what's happening in the garden. But I want to start with a couple of postcards. Thank you for sending me postcards. If you're new here, we've been doing the postcard project for over a year now. You send me a postcard, a card, something showing me, telling me what inspired you from a garden you visited recently, and it's been amazingly fun. So the first one here is from Sarah, and this is from the University of California Botanical Garden. Some gardens are botanic gardens and some gardens are botanical gardens. And at some point I'm going to delve into the wording of those things to figure out what the difference is, or if people just pick what they like. Anyway, visited two gardens in the Bay area, UC Berkeley Botanical Garden and San Francisco Botanical Gardens. Wow, San Francisco Botanical Gardens is a must-see, almost as good as Huntington Gardens in LA. This is from Sarah Marty. Look, check out those agaves. Oh, gotta love blue foliage, right? This little work of art came from Danielle, who actually made a card, which is amazing. So let me show you the pictures of it first. Here is her, what I'm assuming is her beautiful garden. I believe those are all gorgeous dahlias growing there. And then we have all these other pictures that she shared here. Hold on. Thank you. Cheers. But look at all these beautiful pictures she sent. Then on the back, look at those gorgeous peppers. So Danielle says, Erin, I want to thank you for everything you do for us with your YouTube channel. I look forward to your videos and the valuable information you share with us. That's very sweet. Since I get to see your garden a bunch, I want to share my garden with you too. Here's a little about my garden and me. I'm in my 5th gardening year. I really enjoy growing flowering vines, but dahlias and peppers are my absolute favorite to grow. This summer I have about 50 pepper plants and over 30 dahlias. Gardening is my passion hobby, but I really enjoy health and nutrition, and I'm a big animal lover. We have 8 cats and 4 dogs, all rescues. Well, most of them found us. I look forward to sending you more. Have an abundant day. Talk to you soon. From Danielle. First of all, let's just talk about the cutie patootie right there. What a sweetheart. Also, love this dahlia right here. Well, I love all dahlias, you guys know that. And this looks like back here, this looks like a little bit of phlomis. You know I love a phlomis. Anyway, Danielle, thank you for sending that and taking the time to make that beautiful card. That's gorgeous. Then we have one from Carrie in Idaho. Look at this beautiful little note card. Dear Erin, I found your channel on YouTube a couple years ago, and I love following your adventures in the garden. Appreciate your advice and wisdom, and because of you, I've fallen in love with Kochiana, and I grow it in numerous places in my garden. After 31 years in the newspaper industry, I retired and began making the journey in flower farming. Good job, Danielle. Newspaper industry, close to my heart. I grow cut flowers for my local florist in the Silver Valley. I live in Kellogg, Idaho, way up north near the Idaho-Montana border, Zone 6, with long, cold winters. I field farm on our property and enjoy my personal gardens very much. This card is from a watercolor painting of the exterior of our old historic home, which was once the president's home of the Sunshine Mine. At one time back in the 60s and 70s, the largest silver-producing mine in the country. We're nestled in the mountains and are blessed to be surrounded by, I'm going to put this beautiful picture up for you, 2 ski resorts and numerous high alpine lakes. Your easygoing nature in the garden is quite fun to watch. We both share a passion for a good gin and tonic. Well then, cheers, Carrie. Good timing. Have you tried Plymouth Gin? It's one of my favorites. I think I have. I don't know. I'll have to make sure. I mean, I'm always happy to add another gin to try. Cheers to you, Mr. Much More Patient, and Dorothy. Kindest regards. From Carrie at Sunshine Flower Farm. Beautiful. Carrie, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for sending things. Let's take a stroll around the garden because I want to show you some things that look quite a bit different from just 2 weeks ago when we were last here. First of all, Dorothy. Dorothy, hi. It's Dorothy's birthday. Hi, happy birthday, Dorothy. She got to go we went for a walk this morning on the beach. She enjoyed herself very much. Actually, first, let's just take a look at the deck. I want to show you the planters up here. I'm going to do a little pruning on the zebra, solanaria jasminoides. Look at how good the datura is looking. I tell you what, you add a little heat to these tropical plants and shocker, they love it. Beautiful flowers on it. It's just getting some really nice heat to height. Really happy with how this planter is looking, very much so. And then here's the partner to the other one. They are desperately trying to get their outdoor shower installed next door. It is their only shower there right now while they have are under construction. So they're doing their best to get that done, and I don't blame them. Okay, let's just stroll this way first. We're gonna go backwards. I am gonna be cutting back the Veronica here, the white wands. You can see that it's almost flowered out. I will get a second flowering from that if I cut it back. So we'll give that a cut back soon. This is Geranium Hans Reader, which I will also cut back. You know, those guys will bloom, just put up all new foliage, which is great. What I wanted to show you over here though was the ladies' mantle. So the last video I put up was me just having a very sweaty day in the garden. But one of the things I did was cut all this ladies' mantle back. Now, that was filmed 13 days ago. So this is after 13 days. This is what it looks like. I'm trying to get you out of the sun here a little bit. This is what it looks like. So it's all coming back with really nice fresh foliage. The catmint nepeta is coming back nicely. So just to show that when you cut things back hard, they do bounce back. And actually, I didn't say that in that video, but I did time that to do that right before I left, because they do look ugly for a little bit. So if you can time it to cut things back before you leave your garden for a vacation or something, then you miss the worst of it. You know what, let's just walk backwards today. I always say backwards just because I never go around the house this direction. The Snowy Spires verbascum has been such a winner this year. Sorry, the sun is tough. I cut most of it back though, because most of it was starting to brown, and it really isn't that attractive once those flowers start to brown. This is seed heads from Mount Everest allium. They're pretty nice seed heads. I do pull things out eventually, but this garden is fine. But I'll tell you, it has just been besieged by the rabbits. So I just keep planting annuals and they just keep eating them. So that's getting a little frustrating. I am going to cut back this blue kazoo spirea here. That one too will put out really nice foliage. Just kind of get it a little bit in bounds. It doesn't seem to mind that at all. I have a pair of a really nice looking hydrangeas back here. I always get this wrong. I think that's Quickfire back there. And this is not Quickfire. This is something else. Firelight, I think. And I think that's Quickfire. I love them. I actually really like this Quickfire because it has sort of almost like they're panicles, but they're almost lace cappy. It's kind of a good look, I think, especially, you know, because I love a limelight, obviously, but those heads are big and bold, and this is just a little bit more delicate. I think it's quite pretty. There's the lemony lace elderberry that I transplanted out of the urn last year. Still doing fine back there. Oh, we kind of glossed over the banana. He's growing. He's starting to get some leaves now. I think the new one in the pot out front is actually bigger than this guy, but he's growing. He's doing his best, so he'll get some size soon, I think. I'm about to go through and just like cut off all the hosta flowers all at once. I don't like most hosta flowers, but they do get real ratty even if they do look good. Okay. While I was gone, the deer did have a bit of a field day on some things, but Yes, that's a creeping bellflower right there. It's terrible. Pull it out. I will do this tomorrow. I just spotted it over here. Don't fall for it. It's evil. These are old Incredibles, I think, that I moved over here. Just blooming their heads off. But this garden, actually, this part of the garden is, I think, the only part that hasn't been touched yet. And there's not a lot that needs to be done. It just needs to be gone through a little bit. This is this echinacea. I think it's pink parasols. That's what it is. That I had planted over in this garden last year, a lot of it. And I lost all of it. So these two that I have over here are the only ones I have left of it. It's a really pretty one though. And I think that's, the price is white, I think. The Stackies, Bethany, Summer Crush is the light pink one. And the other ones are either Humalo or Summer Romance. Are really blooming like crazy right now. It's very pretty. This plant looks like it's gonna be unattractive, right? Can you see how fine this is? But that's Limonium, sea lavender, which I think is the same thing as Status. There's two of them, and I think that one's the one that's the same as Status. Is gonna be gorgeous soon. These are the Ambassador Allium seed heads. Aren't those beautiful? Oh, that is, you guys, Ambassador is a fabulous allium. Moving around here, the rabbit likes to live in here, but we persist. Signs that I was just walking through here and just randomly pulling out. Jewel weed is so easy to pull that sometimes I see it and I just throw it on the ground and pick it up later. So this pink hydrangea is Invincible Spirit 2. So take a look at how nice and bright pink that is and how pretty it looks with the tricolor beach. And now come over here and let's look at Invincible Spirit 1 and you will see what the difference is. So this is the original Invincible Spirit. Still pretty. My mother would describe that color as underwear pink. It's just a very light pink versus a much deeper pink on. And I think I wouldn't pay attention to the flower head difference. That probably has more to do with where the plant's grown than the actual plant. But anyway, that's the difference between the two of them. I do love how that looks though there. These giant flowers right here that all the bees are on is Haas Halo Hydrangea, which is right up there probably with one of my favorite, well, definitely one of my favorites. Huge, beautiful lace cap flowers on an arborescens hydrangea. I don't know what lily this is. I probably planted that eons ago, but it's blooming and it's still standing, which is saying something for a lily here. Okay, don't look at the cesspool. Mr. Much More Patient mowed and blew all of the grass into my water bowl. So good time to change the water out anyway, I guess. We'll just look at it that way. This is Feather Falls Carex. That overwintered last year. And hang on, I gotta set my drink down. I gotta scratch my arm. Something's biting it. Anyway, it looks so pretty in here. It really came back nicely. See what I mean about having to go through and cut off all the hosta flowers? Oh, here's what I wanted to show you guys. So the other thing that I did in that last video was that I cut back the chive hedge, and you can see that it's basically full height already. So that was, like I said, 13 days ago. You can see everything is nice and fresh and standing up tall, and basically in terms of height is the same height that it was before I cut it off. So that's why I cut it back frequently, because it just refreshes itself so nicely. We've got some dahlias here. This is Melody Dora. Look at how pretty that guy is. And then we've also got First Love mixed in here. So I just planted, I think it was just First Love and Melody Dora that I planted in here. Check out the Bobo hydrangeas. I mean, this is why we love Bobo. Holy smokes, is that amazing or what? They just get covered in them. Now, I'll show you. Over here, we've had some deer nibbling, but still pretty. It's just that the deer didn't come over here, so prettier. Oh, I wanted to show you some clematis here. Multiple clematis here, and I can't name them all, but I can tell you that this is Star River. Oh, I'm just losing him here. The stripy guy is Star River. I can't tell you the blue one, but the purpley kind of maroony one here, this is purple plenins. Yulia from Y Garden sent this to me a couple years ago, and it's like a double, and it's really, really cool. So that's growing up in here too, still trucking along, looking great. That garden right there does not look great. Again, I'm so bummed. I grew all these zinnias and a lot of like the really expensive floret ones and stuff, and the rabbits have just, there's weeds in there, but also the rabbits have just been doing a number on them. I did start more zinnias though. I'm not giving up yet. I'm going to see some zinnias this year. The hydrangeas over here are, I mean, I cannot believe it was literally almost, it was a year ago plus a week that I planted all of these hydrangeas over here. And if it weren't for the deer coming over here and messing with them, they'd be really great, but they're still pretty great. These are Haas Halos. That's a pink one that I can't remember. And then this guy, holy smokes, was it wilted this morning. He is clearly in a spot, I think it's under a root or something. Half the size of the other one and just not getting, so I have to really make sure I stay on top of the water with this guy. Bottlebrush Buckeye is getting a flower on it, which I'm excited about. Those are they've been very slow growing for me. They do get enormous once they get going, but boy, it's been easily 4 years that those have been in the ground. I think we can stroll this way. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Do you see how we have the striped Tachylochloa here, and behind it we have the green? Well, the green ones that are here are the straight species, and this used to be all the striped ones. So the striped one has reverted. I don't mind the green one, so I just let him go. But here's another one, which is, it's the first time I've had a Tachylochloa revert, but several of them did. I need to come in, I just cut a bouquet and use some of these beautiful fennel flowers, bronze fennel, but I will come in here and cut this back pretty hard and let it reflush just so that it doesn't seed absolutely everywhere. Lots more stackies. Just blooming like crazy, looking so pretty. And I see we have the start of flowers on the, now last time I got this wrong in that video, over and over and over. This is Veronicastrum. I kept calling it verbascum in the last video. Anyway, we got the start of flowers there. Got lots more stackies in here, all summer crush. This is where I added some of those plants. Haven't watered it at all since then. Seems to be doing fine. We'll double back here. Mountain mint, Pygnanthemum muticum. I feel like it behaves just fine. Give it the room it says on the tag and you'll be good to go. This part of the garden is actually looking really nice right now. This is Stilby's Chinensis visions, sorry. And some Actea, I don't know if it's Actea or Simicifuga, which I think is bugbane. And then of course Carex, the blue Carex is Carex Flocka Blue Zinger. And then there's some Tachylochloa all gold. And then of course I've showed you this pulmonaria before. This is Diane Claire, and it's a good one. Someone mentioned that they felt like it held its leaves up higher, and I agree with that more than some other varieties do. Do have to come in and, you know, it's time. The poppies have done their thing here. Do need to clean things up a little bit, and the Pygnanthemum is sort of flopping on me, so we'll just flop it back the other direction. I've been showing you this Nepeta subsessilis blue prelude for at least a month now. and it's still looking good in bloom. We've got some liatris starting to flower, which is quite pretty. And I actually see over here, we have some, I also see some Virginia creeper mixed in there, but we have some Monarda in here, which is really beautiful. And then we've got some liatris mixed in with it. I don't know if I planned that, but let's say I did and say I did good. This is rusty foxglove. This is what I had planted in a video not too long ago, but these might have been the ones that were already here. Isn't that a gorgeous foxglove? You know, it's not as showy as the other ones, but it sure is beautiful. The deer have been naughty over here. They're nipping off everything. I mean, they're not eating it, but like, look, they've nipped off all my boom chocolata. You guys know, you know the feeling. It stinks. Let's just come around. More blue prelude over here. And the Shasta daisies are just about at the end of their attractive life anyway. So we'll cut those back soon. Got some Amsonia, which is relatively new, probably planted last year. I think Amsonia is so good. It's got all the etherealness of a grass, but better texture almost, and something different, and you get those flowers in spring. Really nice. I'd say this area is looking kind of rough. It's time to spend some quality. You know, I avoid it because then the mosquitoes come out. We do have some. Oh God, 1 week out of the garden and I've forgotten the names of everything. Toad lilies. Toad lilies. They planted quite a few of them in here, and those are actually starting to grow really well. So this should be very pretty in here, I think. So let's pause for a moment to talk about Erin's big mistake and where I went wrong on these hanging baskets. So first of all, I think everything is looking really pretty over here. Very, very happy with how things are growing in. So when I planted these hanging baskets, because you know they're just these wire cages, what I did was, for this one I had a cocoa liner, but on the outside of it I bought from that super moss company, like sheets of super moss, and it had sticky back on it. But I thought, oh, well, that's weird. Well, maybe that's so you can use it on other things. And I used it, and unfortunately it's disintegrating. So if you look under here, like, can you see how all the moss, like the whole thing is like disintegrating? So what I've been doing, because I don't know really what else to do, I don't want to have to like rip these baskets apart and replant them or anything. So I've been taking sphagnum moss and trying to like jam, I don't mind the look of the sphagnum moss, and trying to like jam it in there. If you have an idea of something else I can do at this point without like pulling this whole thing apart, let me know, because it's clearly bad. I think what I would have done if I were doing this again was maybe line this with chicken wire. And first of all, I could not find a cocoa liner for this one, and maybe I could have looked longer or made one of my own, but I don't love the look of cocoa liners, to be honest, so I would prefer to avoid that if I can. I think what would work though is if I lined these with chicken wire and then put sphagnum moss inside of that. And I think the sphagnum moss would cover the chicken wire, but that would hold the sphagnum moss in place. It's a little too late to do that. So if you have some great idea of how I can resolve that problem, I'm here for it. Anyway, everything's looking really good in these. Other than that problem, I'm really loving having this whole display over here. Mosquitoes. That was a Wisconsin phrase. Okay, let's take a look at Roy's garden here. So, unfortunately, I'm finding this garden is in more shade this year. I think the maple tree to the sort of west of this garden has gotten a little denser. So I wouldn't say this garden is as good as it was in previous years. Still pretty good. Still loving the stackies there. This is Carrick's, no, Sporobolus, something anoides, something, I don't know, aeroides, which is really pretty, but we need some more flowers in there. So I'll have to do some, like Roy would tell me, well, you got a garden. That's the gardening part. We got lots of alliums that are about to come into bloom here. We planted this with, I think, Summer Beauty and one that he called Shorty Eye, which I think is that one, which he found at Northwind. So it's kind of a mix of them. And then we have some Coreopsis over here, and there's a lot of Millennia over there. I added in the Nepenthes subsessilis Neptune over here this year. This is what happens to skunk cabbages when they are done being skunk cabbages for the year. So I'll have to cut that guy back. Okay, let's kind of pop back up here, back to where we left off before with those hydrangeas. Oh, and we talked about the limonium already, so you've seen all this already. Yes, you have seen all this. Because I'm walking backwards, because we looked this way already. Oh my gosh, I've already gotten myself lost in my own garden. Okay, let's walk around to the front then, because that's the way we haven't seen. Some flowers on Tough Stuff, mostly low, because if you recall, I pruned these late last year. So I think they will get some flowers later in the season, probably, but I knew when I cut them that the flower show would not be as good. Weigela, Midnight Sun, really pretty, very happy with it. Here is this banana, looking very good. I think it's probably the same size. It's actually shorter probably than the other one, but it's got some really nice leaves on it. This little guy has a couple of flowers in the center of it. We've had a couple of flowers on the dahlia. This dahlia that's in there, I think it might actually have a virus, but I figure it's contained in a pot, so I'm going to leave it. Here's Fiona Sunrise in here, trying her best to like make her way out of here, which is good. That's what I want her to do. I want her to crawl up that banana, or I'll push her up there. Beautiful little clematis here. Oh, and I just want to show you, this is oh, you guys forgive me. My brain has just gone mush. This is that Southern Living plant that I put in here. Sunshine Ligustrum. It's really, I'm so happy with it. I think it's really nice in that container. These guys have gone kind of wild in the best way possible. I'm kind of loving the Golden Curls willow. But let's look over here, because this finally I feel like is starting to like really look like something. First of all, Pearl de Azur clematis is just going gangbusters. I kind of missed my opportunity to pin it up on the trellis, and so it's all sort of flopping over, and I don't really mind. The window box, sorry, mosquito. The window box is looking really, really good. I got to get up there and sort of, I can see that the, like the Fiona Sunrise Jasmine is starting to climb there. I can also see on this one it needs some help getting up the trellis, so I'll have to get the ladder up tomorrow and sort of arrange things a little bit. But, you know, I gave it a really nice dose of water-soluble fertilizer before I left, and it's looking really good. I am particularly enamored with this combination of the Coralina Superbells and the Peachy Keen Superbena. I think that is a really nice little combo. And then with the blue of the Evolvus, very pretty. Anyway, really happy with how that's looking right now. I'll just have to sort of rearrange things a little bit there. Now, the front border here, I think you can finally see now for the first time sort of what my theory was when I planted this. So remember, we've got dahlias all along the back. This, by the way, this dahlia came back from last year and I was so excited, but I didn't know what it was. And I think this is like Calgiani Joy maybe. And it's fine, but this is not the dahlia I would have picked to have back here. So I'm a little bummed that it wasn't something bigger and bolder. So what I did was I did sections of lime, chartreuse colors. Let me get you a little closer here. I did big sections of chartreuse colors and then big sections of blue. And then that's where I threw in a little bit of the white Nicotiana. So both of these Nicotianas are from the perfume series, and that's as tall as they'll get. So this is Nicotiana Perfume Lime, and this is Perfume White. And let's just see if they have any perfume, if they're lying. I don't smell anything. So then we have another section of lime. Oh, and then I've stuck in the pineapple lily, the comus in there. And then we get another clump of blue and then more lime, and the lime areas are just about texture, right? So we've got the Nicotiana, we've got Ascot Rainbow Euphorbia, and then this is Plectranthus back there, the name of which escapes me right now. So we've just done 3 big clumps of blue. 1, 2, 3. And because I didn't want to overwhelm this with too much color, because we get so much color once these dahlias back here are blooming. So right now it looks probably a little bit too green, but once those dahlias start blooming, I think that becomes a little bit more cohesive. Pretty excited that Little Miss Figgy has got all these figs on it. Look at these guys. It's very exciting. This container, I'm going to come in here and do a little bit of pruning. I can't believe this is this new Kufia from Proven Winners. And look at how robust that plant is. It's a very nice plant. I actually might have to prune it a little bit just to make sure everything gets a little chance at life in there. The Royal Sunset Lilies are, for the most part, done. I'm just kind of waiting for these last few flowers to fade and then we'll prune those back. This is Rise Up Lilac Days, I think, rose, which has lots and lots of buds on it. Pretty happy back there. And let's just flip you around this way quick. Show you the urn. Finally has gotten into flower a little bit, which is makes me happy. And then you can see over here, if you can see that, we've got Princess Diana Clematis kind of climbing up into it. I would say the Melianthus in the center there could grow a little faster if it felt like that. I mean, I'd be on board with that, but whatever, take your time. It's still pretty up there and still very architectural. So I'm pretty happy with this right now. I'd still like to see a little bit more flower coming out on some of those flowers. Speaking of flower though, the tiny tough stuff hydrangeas still are looking great. It's such a good hydrangea year here because of all the rain. Although now we're a little dry. I actually had to water today, interestingly enough. And the same for the clematis. We still have Hudson River clematis kind of making its way through all of these Navajo Princess Mangave. The alyssum that I planted down here, this is just the bedding one. It feels so nice. It's all in flower now and it looks exactly like, this is exactly like what I had hoped it would be. So again, same concept as kind of over there. A lot of repetition in this front row because behind it I've got all sorts of dahlias planted in there. So it's wild and chaotic back there. So I like to have some orderliness in the beginning. So basically we did a ground cover of this alyssum, and then we did a repetition of 3 of these Navajo Princess Mangaves. And then in between them, we did some Ascot Rainbow and a white Bidens. This is not the Proven Winners one. This is a different one, and it's taken its own sweet time blooming here. And then we've got the clematis that kind of come, there's 3 of those in here. They kind of flop around through it's a non-binding one. So they just kind of flop around through there. And Here's the last one. The sun is super bright. And then we get some lime in here with the tansy, which gets a little bit long and is going to try to flower. I might actually chop something off. I certainly don't need the flowers. They're nothing to write home about. Pretty little Crichton honey dahlia here. And then the limelight hydrangea is doing its best to defy the odds and get as tall as as plantily possible. Some more lilies that will be done soon here. Oh, this beauty right here. Probably very difficult to see here, but this is Thalictrum. I believe this is Splendid. And then underneath that, we've got the Verbena Bampton. And those two kind of meld together in the nicest way. This is totally flopped over. If I stood this up, it would be like 7 feet tall. Here's some more of the foxgloves blooming away here. This is Dalmatian Peach. Started from seed this year. If you start this one early enough, you will have flowers this year. And then I've got Nigella has just popped up everywhere. It's clearly an amazing reseeder. I've never planted any Nigella in this garden at all. I assume it came in on compost probably, which is fine. Here's another clematis. This is Gravetide Beauty. Not that it matters because it's not flowering, but it just sort of hangs in the serviceberry here. And I guess I can cut back the columbine now. That looks wretched. And then we've got totally tangerine dahlia right here. Here's some lady's mantle that I did not cut back. And then here's Orange Fields Persicaria, which I really like. I've got several of those in this garden. I think it's beautiful. The Japanese beetles do love the leaves though. And of course I was gone, so there was no Japanese beetle control there. This is kind of the view from the back side, which isn't bad. Here you can see the back side of this container. That's the Silene that I started from seed. Silene Sabella Carmine is the name of the pink plant. And this is the back of that. And this viburnum, Shoshani, I think, or cupcake. Look at how pretty it is with the red berries on it. I mean, it's really it's a whole additional season of beauty with that. Here's some more Princess Diana, which is a different one from what's over there. I have a couple of them. This smoke bush is perpetually anemic looking. This is another Orange Fields right here. And then this, of course, is Agastache, which is what I say. Someone corrected me a couple weeks ago. And, you know, this, and I totally understand that everyone pronounces things differently, but as Stacy Hervella from Proven Winners, who is a botanist and a horticulturalist, has described, maybe she's not a botanist, maybe she's just a horticulturalist, but she has described multiple times that the botanical language is a written language. It is not a spoken language, and therefore there is no expectation of what pronunciation would or should be. And so as long as someone understands what you're saying it right. I would say Agastache is one of those ones that I've heard say 4 different words, said 4 different ways. And some, like Roy Diblick says Agastache. I think that a lot of other designers might say Agastache, Agostaki. It doesn't matter. You guys knew what plant I was talking about? It's all good. This is our, when you see this ugly thing hanging here, this is our wasps catcher. We have wasps living in our soffits too, so apparently the earlier you can get a wasp, you can attempt to catch the queen, and then the whole population sort of falls apart. I don't know. I'm not in charge of this part of things, obviously. Okay, so I think that's basically what the garden looks like. I think you can see that it looks quite a bit different from what it did 2 weeks ago. At least it looks different to me, but still beautiful. Oh, here's Elba luxurians. I think I showed you this clematis last week. But this is really a lifesaver for this spruce here, which would not be very pretty were it not for that. There's the birthday girl. Hi. Hi, Dorothy. Hi. You want to come here? Come here. All right, that's it from here, from me and the birthday girl. Have a great day in your garden. Thanks for watching. More videos to come. I just got to kind of catch my breath a little bit from getting back into the garden again. All right, have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.